Welcome to Discover U Radio's Discussions. I'm Robert Simmons.
And I'm Rita Fox.
And we are about to take a deep dive.
Welcome to this custom deep dive. Today, we're digging into the incredible 4-decade-plus story of Metallica. They're one of the biggest selling acts in American music history, hands down. It's just pretty wild when you think about it. How does a band go from like a single newspaper ad to playing shows on literally all 7 continents and then boom, taking over something massive like Fortnite? That's some journey, right? Our mission here is to really unpack their entire history, and we're doing it by drawing exclusively from the band's official website. We want to uncover those defining moments, the, surprising twists, and just the sheer resilience that built this amazing legacy.
Exactly. And by pulling directly from the history section on Metallica.com, we're getting the story straight from them. This isn't speculation or fan theories. It's their own account, laid out chronologically. It gives us a really unique perspective on their narrative.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Those humble beginnings. It's kind of amazing that a band this huge started with a classified ad, October 28th, 1981, drummer Lars Ulrich puts an ad in the LA Recycler, and that's how he connects with James Hetfield guitar and vocals. What was it about that initial spark, do you think?
Well, that's a great point. I think even back then, it wasn't just about liking the same heavy music. It was this intense work ethic they shared and a really clear vision for something heavier, faster, different. Pretty soon after, they brought in Hetfield's buddy Ron McGovney on bass and Dave Mustaine on lead guitar. And the name Metallica, that actually came from a suggestion by a friend in the Bay Area scene, Ron Quintana. All right. You could tell right away they were driven.
And that drive paid off fast. Their first demo, No Life Till Leather, it just sort of exploded on the tape trading circuit. That was like the underground internet back then, right?
Really, it went viral, 80s style.
Yeah. So after some gigs in LA and then the Bay Area, they make this really key decision. Move the whole operation up to the Bay Area. And it wasn't just for the scenery, was it? It was strategic. They wanted Cliff Burton on bass, and he left his band Trauma to join them. What did that specific move mean for their sound?
Oh, it was huge, a massive statement. Cliff's arrival was, transformative. He brought this unique classical thing, incredible technical skill to their raw power. And that move pretty much led straight to their first big break. In '83, John Zazula, this East Coast indie metal guy with Megaforce Records, offered them an album deal. They literally just packed up a U-Haul and drove cross-country to New York to record that first album.
Right, but not before a pretty significant and, let's say, dramatic lineup change happened. Yeah. April '83, soon after getting to New York, Dave Mustaine is out, and Kirk Hammett, fresh from Exodus, this intense shredder he's in, the album that came out of that, Kill 'Em All, later that year.
Wow.
Just pure punk-encrusted, crunchy metal riffery, as the site puts it. Songs like Seek and Destroy became anthems almost instantly. What kind of splash did that raw sound make?
It was pretty revolutionary at the time. Kill 'Em All just clicked immediately with that growing thrash scene. It basically laid down the blueprint, Yeah. And the reaction was so strong, it let them follow up super quickly with album number 2, Ride the Lightning. They recorded that in Copenhagen, summer of '84. You could already hear their writing chemistry just getting deeper, more mature, really fast. Things like For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black. Real classic compositions showing way more depth than just speed.
And the momentum just kept building, didn't it? Pushing them out of the underground. Q Prime Management spots them. Elektra Records spots them. By fall '84, they're signed to a major label for a band that came up through the indie scene, tape trading. What did signing with Elektra really mean? Was it a sellout moment for some or just the next logical step?
Oh, it was definitely a pivotal moment. It gave their sound legitimacy on a much wider stage. Suddenly they had the machine behind them, the infrastructure to really expand their reach. Their profile just blew up internationally, and the touring ramped up incredibly fast. They were hitting the road constantly.
So late '85, they're back recording. Master of Puppets comes out March '86. And this album, it felt like they had arrived. A total masterclass. You've got Battery, the title track, that incredible instrumental, Orion. It hits the top 30. They get this massive support slot opening for Ozzy Osbourne. Their fan base just exploded. It really felt like nothing could stop them.
Yeah, they were absolutely on fire. But then, September 27th, 1986, while they're on tour in Sweden, the unthinkable happens.
Yeah.
Their tour bus hits black ice, skids, flips over, and Cliff Burton is killed instantly. It wasn't just losing a bandmate. It was like the heart got ripped out of the band. His influence, that mix of raw energy and like actual musical theory, it was enormous. His death left this huge void musically and personally. It was just a profound tragedy that really shook everyone.
Facing something like that, I mean, how do you even begin to move forward? They held auditions, right? Over 40 bass players, apparently, and they ended up choosing Jason Newsted from Flotsam and Jetsam. What's really striking is how quickly they got back to it, jumped right back into touring, and then in '87, they quickly banged out that covers EP, the $5.98 EP Garage Days revisited, just covers, kind of raw. What did that quick return signal, do you think? Resilience?
Absolutely resilience. I think it was also maybe a way to cope, grieving through work, through music, keep moving. And that energy carried them right into making their fourth album, and Justice for All. That came out August '88. It hit number 6 on the U.S. charts, which was huge for them then. And they were out on the Monsters of Rock tour, apparently just blowing Van Halen, the headliners, off the stage every night. Yeah. That really set them up for their own first headline arena tour worldwide.
And Injustice was also when they did their first ever music video, right?
Yeah.
For one, described as dark, monochromatic, violent, emotional. It was stark, intense. Definitely not your typical hair metal video. It felt like a real artistic statement.
It absolutely was. It underscored their unique, darker identity perfectly.
Okay, then comes 1991, and this is where things go absolutely stratospheric. We're talking about the self-titled album, the one everyone just calls the Black Album. This wasn't just another record. It felt like a very conscious shift. They brought in a new producer, Bob Rock, and the focus was on this fuller, maybe more straightforward sound. What was the strategy there, moving away from the complex thrash?
It was a huge gamble, gotta say. But it showed they weren't afraid to evolve, even if it meant maybe ticking off some of the original thrash fans. They wanted something bigger, maybe. And man, did that gamble pay off. Instantly. #1 album worldwide. Just stayed there. Sold over 16 million copies in the U.S. alone eventually. Yeah. It was insane. And it had genuine hit singles. Enter Sandman, obviously, became the Metallica anthem for a whole generation. And Nothing Else Matters, their first big ballad, really connected with millions. Grammy, MTV Awards, American Music Awards. It wasn't just selling records. It totally redefined what mainstream metal could be.
And the tour. My God, the tour. Nearly 300 shows across 3 years, just relentless, pushing themselves to the absolute limit. That included that infamous stadium tour co-headlining with Guns N' Roses. And it also resulted in their first official live album, Live Shit, Binge and Purge, just a marathon. Showed off their live power.
Definitely a marathon.
Yeah.
After that craziness, they understandably needed some time to regroup, write new stuff. So Load comes out June 1996, and this marked another shift, right? A deeper dive, more bluesy maybe. The site calls it loose, powerful, and confident. How did that shift go over?
Well, some hardcore fans were definitely surprised, maybe a bit confused, but it still sold over 5 million copies. So clearly a lot of people were digging the experimentation. They actually had so many songs from those sessions that a companion album, Reload, came out pretty quickly in 1997.
Yeah, they were really exploring that insatiable search for new pastures, as the site says. That led to Garage Inc. in '98 too, that double album of covers. And then the really ambitious S&M project in 1999, playing with the San Francisco Symphony, Michael Kamen conducting. That was groundbreaking. Show they just refused to be put in a box, always looking for the next challenge.
But then, the turn of the century, things got pretty chaotic, a real crossroads, personally and artistically. 2000 started with tours, okay. But then January 2001, Jason Newsted leaves the band. That was a big shock. The remaining 3, James, Lars, Kirk, they start working on new music.
Yeah.
But then mid-2001, James Hetfield has to step away, enters rehab. That must have been an incredibly difficult, uncertain time.
Oh, absolutely. A real crisis point. It forced a lot of deep reckoning within the band, But when they did get back together, spring 2002, there was this raw, almost therapeutic energy there.
Yeah.
Bob Rock stepped in on bass duties and also produced. And the result was Saint Anger, released in 2003. The site describes it as unfettered, hungry, edgy, feral, and angry. It had this deliberately raw, unpolished sound. Very divisive among fans, especially that snare drum sound. But it really captured where they were at vulnerable but fighting back. And crucially, during this time, Robert Trujillo joins as the new permanent bassist, chosen for his easygoing demeanor and ferocious finger-plucking style.
Yeah.
He was a really important stabilizing presence then.
Right. And this whole intense, messy, but ultimately kind of forward-moving period, it was all documented in the film, some kind of monster. Started as just like a making of promo piece, right?
All right.
But it ended up becoming this incredibly revealing look at artistic struggle, personal demons, group therapy, one of the most honest rock docs ever made, maybe.
Yeah.
What did you showing all that vulnerability do for them?
It was huge. It pulled back the curtain completely, showed the immense pressure, the dynamics, the fights, the breakthroughs. It humanized them in a way you rarely see with bands at that level. It was raw, yeah, sometimes uncomfortable to watch, but ultimately pretty inspiring to see them work through it all.
Okay, so after all that, That deep dive into their own issues. 2004, they hit the road again. The Madly in Anger with the World tour. Played like over 80 dates just in the US over 2.5 years. Intense. After that, 2005 was declared a recharge year. Much needed, probably. Except for like 2 gigs opening for the Rolling Stones. Casual.
Yeah, that break seemed important. Let them kind of reset and think about the next creative step. And it was a big one. Early 2006, they decided to work with a new producer, the legendary Rick Rubin. And Rubin's whole thing was encouraging them to look back, reconnect with their early thrash roots. The result was Death Magnetic out in 2008. And it really felt like this perfect blend of old school Metallica thrash and the more experimental side they'd explored. It smashed the charts, #1 everywhere. Seemed to please both the old fans and the newer ones.
And in the middle of that huge World Magnetic tour, something really special happened. April 2009, they get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They brought everyone, friends, family, crew. It looked like a real celebration in Cleveland. For a band that always kind of did things their own way, what did that official recognition mean?
I think it was a powerful moment of validation, recognizing their massive impact.
Yeah.
And they kept that celebratory vibe going later that year, playing with other Hall of Famers, Lou Reed, Ozzy, Ray Davies. And then 2010, this was huge for metal fans, the first of the big 4 shows. Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, all on the same stage, historic stuff that led to the big 4, live from Sofia, Bulgaria release.
Okay, and this next move. This really highlights that artistic independence we talked about. 2011, after another break, they do this collaboration album with like Lou Reed, the Lulu album. Based on these German plays, Reed's interpretation, it was, let's say, not well received, is putting it mildly. It got hammered by critics and a lot of fans. But it really proved that Metallica does what Metallica wants, right? To risk something that polarizing at their level, it says a lot about prioritizing art over safe commercial choices.
Absolutely. It was pure artistic exploration, zero compromise. They knew it wouldn't be for everyone. That same year, though, they did something very fan-focused. Celebrated their 30th anniversary, 4 nights at the Fillmore in San Francisco, fan club members only. Tickets were $6, like back in 1981, and they had tons of special guests, even brought Dave Mustaine back out to play some old songs. A really cool nod to their history.
Then, 2012, they just casually announced they're putting on their own festival. Orion Music Plus More. Not just playing a festival, but curating the whole thing. Different stages, different genres. Each band member had their own themed area. It felt really ambitious, showcasing their diverse tastes. And they headlined both nights, playing full albums. What did that signal?
It showed that restless ambition again. Wanting control, wanting to create their own world. And they kept pushing. 2013, they released this big, ambitious movie project, Metallica Through the Never. It weaves concert footage with this like surreal post-apocalyptic story. Critics actually praised its boldness, the spectacle of it. But yeah, it wasn't exactly a box office hit. Still, another example of them taking a big creative swing.
But speaking of ambition, this next feat is just incredible, maybe unprecedented. 2013, they become the first band ever to play on all 7 continents within the same calendar year. It culminated with this show at Carlini Base in Antarctica. For some contest winners and scientists, I mean, talk about ending the year with a bang.
It's just wild, isn't it? A real testament to their global reach and, frankly, their determination. And they kept finding new challenges. 2014, they performed one with the classical pianist Lang Lang at the Grammys, another unexpected pairing, and they finally made their debut at the legendary Glastonbury Festival in the UK. These weren't just gigs, they were cultural moments, really.
Okay, switching gears slightly. Around 2015, they start doing these cool things, especially with sports teams. Performing the national anthem for the San Francisco Giants, the Sharks, the Warriors. What's the idea behind a band like Metallica doing that, connecting with a different crowd?
Yeah, I think it's about being part of the wider community, beyond just music fans. It's a subtle reminder of just how big their cultural footprint is. Then 2016 rolls around and boom, new album. Hardwired to Self-Destruct, Greg Fiedelman producing this time. They dropped the first single, Hardwired, as a total surprise, just this blast of pure, intense metal. And the album was a huge success, #1 in like 57 countries, 3rd biggest selling album of 2016 in the US. It felt like a real return to form, really heavy hitting.
That same year, they also kicked off that big remaster campaign for the classic albums, Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning. They even played a small gig at Rasputin Music, like the old days, and had an after party at the original house they lived in, the Metalli Mansion. What does that say about staying connected to their roots, their fans?
It shows they really value that history, that direct connection. They haven't forgotten where they came from. And then, 2017 to 2019, they launched the massive World Wired Tour. drew over 1 million fans just in North America. A real highlight, and maybe another surprise collaboration, was performing Moth into Flame with Lady Gaga at the Grammys in 2017. That was electric. Another boundary pusher.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, 2017 is also when they officially launched their own charity, the All Within My Hands Foundation. And it's done some serious work, right? Raised millions for wildfire relief in California, millions for hunger relief, workforce education, building partnerships. That feels like a really significant part of their legacy now, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's taking their influence and turning it into real, tangible good. Giving back to the communities that have supported them for so long. It's huge. And then in 2019, another look back, but also forward. They celebrated the 20th anniversary of the original S&M shows by doing S&M 2. This time it was to open the brand new Chase Center Arena in San Francisco. New orchestral arrangements, conductor Edwin Outwater involved alongside Michael Tilson Thomas.
Yeah.
It drew fans from something like 65 different countries. Just shows the lasting power of that orchestral collaboration.
But then, late 2019, another unexpected turn. James Hetfield had to step away again, entered rehab. That meant postponing tours in Australia and New Zealand. And then, of course, 2020 hits and the whole world shuts down with the pandemic. For a band built on massive live shows, how did they navigate that?
It really forced them to innovate, didn't it? They reacted incredibly fast. Launched #Metallica Mondays, streaming old concerts for free for 23 straight weeks. Raised over $100,000 for All Within My Hands doing that. They even dropped this amazing surprise, a totally reworked acoustic-driven version of Blackened, done entirely in quarantine. It showed amazing adaptability and that dedication to keeping the connection with the fans alive.
And they didn't stop there. They did that unique summer show, filmed at a winery, but broadcast to drive-in movie theaters across North America. Apparently the first time a rock band had played a live show in this format anywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And later that year, the S&M 2 live album and concert film finally got their official release. Huge acclaim for that.
Their charity work kept going too. They streamed the Helping Hands concert and auction late in 2020, raised over $1.3 million, all via pay-per-view. Just incredible generosity from the fans. 2021 was then all about milestones. The Black Album turned 30. The band itself turned 40. For the Black Album, they released this absolutely massive, definitive box set. And alongside it, the Metallica Blacklist, 53 different artists from all genres covering songs from the Black Album. That was wild.
And then for the 40th anniversary itself, December 2021, they basically took over San Francisco for a weekend. Intimate club gigs featuring their own kids' bands opening OTTO, Taipei Houston, Bastardane, community service events. It culminated in 2 huge 40th anniversary shows at the Chase Center, just packed with history and special guests. Felt like a real family celebration.
Yeah, it did. 2022 saw them getting back out on the road globally again. And the year closed with some really poignant moments. They did a special tribute show for Johnny and Marcia Zazula, the couple who gave them their first record deal with Megaforce. For that show, they only played songs from the 83-84 era, a real deep cut for the original fans. And the AWMH Helping Hands concert that year raised an astonishing $3 million.
So it really begs the question, after 4 decades, all these ups and downs, innovations, challenges, how do they keep finding ways to surprise people, to push forward?
I think it's just ingrained in them, that continuous drive to find new challenges, refusing to just rest on their laurels. Even when things get tough personally, or the whole industry changes. Like November 28th, 2022, out of nowhere, they dropped this triple bombshell announcement. First, a new album, 72 seasons. Their 12th studio record is coming in less than 5 months. Second, the first single, Lux Eterna, is available right now, instantly. And third, here are the dates for the massive M72 World Tour featuring this brand new concept. No repeat weekends, 2 nights in each city, 2 completely different set lists, no overlap, a totally fresh way to tour. It was a huge power move.
Yeah, full speed or nothing is their motto, right? And they meant it. Mid-April 2023, 72 Seasons drops. They release music videos for all 12 tracks simultaneously. And they hold this global listening party, a cinematic event in thousands of theaters worldwide the night before release. The M72 tour kicks off in Amsterdam just weeks later, bringing that no-repeat weekend concept to life immediately.
Yeah, and the tour hit the U.S. later that year. They even did live broadcasts from the shows in Arlington, Texas, beamed into cinemas globally. Another way to connect. And before 2023 ended, they played Saudi Arabia for the first time ever, still breaking new ground geographically.
2024 keeps the momentum going. They pick up their 10th Grammy Award, this time Best Metal Performance for the title track, 72 Seasons. And they do another one of those cool cross-genre things, performing Elton John's Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding at the Library of Congress Gershwin Prize ceremony honoring Elton. Just fierce.
But maybe the most, 21st century move yet, definitely groundbreaking, came in 2024 with Fortnite. Metallica became the first band to literally take over all the different Fortnite experiences. Themed gameplay in Battle Royale, new stuff in Lego Fortnite, rocket racing. It was unprecedented. Talk about meeting fans where they are, especially younger generations.
Absolutely wild. And the M72 World Tour is rolling right into 2025, including, finally, those rescheduled dates down in Australia and New Zealand. So yeah, definitely no signs of slowing down, still innovating, still connecting. So wrapping this up, we've traced this incredible arc from a classified ad in LA to genuine global icons. Groundbreaking albums, yes, but also devastating loss, amazing resilience, and this relentless drive to keep changing, keep innovating in their music, their shows, how they connect with everyone.
So what does all this mean for you listening right now? Maybe think about how a band manages to keep redefining itself, keep embracing new stuff, new tech, and still maintain such a powerful direct bond with its audience after 40 plus years.
Yeah.
What can we maybe learn from Metallica's story about adapting, about sticking to your artistic guns, about building a real community, especially seeing how they keep chasing new challenges, even when things get incredibly difficult, personally or for the whole music world? How does their journey maybe inspire you to push your own limits? Thank you for joining us on Discover Your Radio's Discussions. From Robert Simmons
and Rita Fox, we'll catch you on the next Deep Dive.